Penguin Random House Audio presents The Soul of Discipline, the simplicity parenting approach to warm, firm and calm guidance from toddlers to teens. By Kim John Payne. Read for you by Christopher Brown. This book is dedicated to you, dear parent, for the laughter and love you bring to your family. Introduction. Although I have been a school and family counsellor for more than 30 years, I have never met a genuinely disobedient child or teen. What I have encountered are myriad disoriented kids. When we do not provide our children with well-defined boundaries, they react by being difficult and defiant. They feel unsafe and unsettled, and we become frustrated and confused. Inevitably, our children sense our disorientation, which increases theirs, and a truly unhealthy, self-perpetuating cycle is activated. As the imperfect parent of two teenagers, I am all too aware of the feeling of freefall we parents experience when challenging disciplinary situations arise. We grasp at any solid handhold to break our spiraling emotional descent, and although some parents think we can find solid ground in the advice of experts who tell us to choose a parenting style and stick to it, I have my doubts about how well this works. Anything we stick to can become stuck, and we cannot effectively enforce a rigid disciplinary method on our kids because they are constantly growing and changing, and their emotional needs shift with equal frequency. Since the publication of my book Simplicity Parenting, and the worldwide movement it spawned, the value of slowing down and simplifying family life has been affirmed by countless parents. The same idea applies to dealing with disciplinary issues. For instance, when our tween or teenager exclaims, "Don't treat me like a little kid," we may well be off base, and our son or daughter may be right. But he or she may also be wrong. We may be directing our child appropriately at that moment. Complicated stuff. How does any parent know if he or she is on the right track? The Soul of Discipline will explore such questions. In my view, it is critical when we discipline children that we hold them emotionally when things are too complicated or unclear. At other times, when they are doing well, we can relax our firm, caring embrace and apply a lighter touch. You may intuitively recognize this way of being present in your child's life. Let's explore how your intuition can become a practical, creative tool that can be used in a kind yet firm way to provide your child with the support he or she needs when difficulties arise. The 3 phases. Underlying my philosophy of discipline is a 3-tiered governor, gardener, guide parenting approach. 3 phases of parental involvement that build on each other. 3 roles which can be used to appropriately calibrate how you respond to any and every challenging disciplinary situation. Here is a quick overview of the 3 phases. The governor oversees the early years, helping a child feel safe, control impulses, and learn to follow direction by showing him who is in charge. This builds healthy foundations for. The gardener cultivates the flowering of the tween years and encourages a child to see that he or she is a part of a family in which everyone depends on one another. The parent is still in charge, but now reaches out to a tween to hear how she sees things and what plans she may have. This naturally leads to. The guide oversees the teen years. He or she knows the terrain ahead and listens to a teen as they plan together the best path to achieve his goals, hopes and dreams. The governor, gardener, guide roles are an excellent way to adapt your disciplinary approach as a child grows. But you can also look at them from another angle, as a 3-step process for supporting your child's specific needs rather than their age-related developmental stages. These stages can be described as base, governor principle. This involves building foundations that are broad and deep. The intention is to help a child of any age be able to control impulses, follow direction, and accept boundaries. Children are taught to direct willpower so that it is effective rather than the cause of trouble. If this is in place, middle ground, Gardner principle. When the foundations of impulse control are established, kids will become team players. They can make their plans while taking other family members into consideration. The intention is to help your child develop empathy, understand the feelings of others, and strengthen his or her social abilities. If this is in place, top tier, guide principle. When a child has learned to accept appropriate boundaries and appreciates that others in the family have needs, he or she can build a path to healthy decisions. This is the time to encourage and guide his or her choices. What this book will avoid doing is giving you a lot of seemingly sensible advice that builds a family situation in which you end up giving your kid too many choices and freedoms that he or she can't handle. A parent intuitively feels that this kind of situation is off base, and it sets you and your child up for a fall. Everyone feels frustrated, and your discipline is precarious and unstable. But what if things are already hard? So how does this help practically if your tween or teen is not doing so well at accepting your Gardner or guide-based discipline? For example, what if your teen wants the freedom to make big decisions but is disrespectful of how these choices affect others and is not accepting the sensible boundaries that keep him or her safe? The answer? Hello, Governor. You move your child back to the base camp of the governor disciplinary dynamic to help him or her understand that freedom to choose is not an entitlement. The young person needs this shift in your discipline, otherwise things can spiral out of control. Your child needs to operate within a smaller and closer family state. Once your son or daughter has understood who is in charge and that he or she must show consideration for the needs of others in the family, your child can again have more space. You're not going to be popular, but you will be happier feeling you are standing on sensible and solid ground. And most important, your son or daughter will now be operating within freedoms and responsibilities that he or she needs and can handle, rather than you expecting too much from a child who isn't ready. Tuning in your discipline and support. This simple 3-tier way to adapt discipline can also be used on a daily, small-scale level. One mother wrote in, "Everything can be going along fine with my 13-year-old, but then she flips out and is impossible. This used to go on for days, and I used to stand there not knowing what to do while everything seemed to be falling apart. Insisting on her making better choices seemed reasonable, but it was beyond what she was capable of at the time. Now I pull in the boundaries, go back to the foundations, and do the governor thing for an hour or maybe a day or two at most, and she is good to go and is a lot more considerate to everyone in the family." The aim of this book is to clarify for you, the parent, the phases of a child's life and match them with the kind of discipline that meets and nurtures his or her needs. What this book should not do is make you feel you have to do things this way or leave you thinking, "Oh no, I've been doing everything wrong." Our kids need us to be family leaders, not the followers of the prescriptions learned from a parenting book, no matter how good the advice may be. Any book written by a parenting expert should come with a health warning similar to those that appear on cigarette packages. It should read, "This advice may cause your parenting self-esteem serious harm and can lead to expert opinion dependency and a family leadership vacuum." How to navigate this book. As you listen, you will discover 5 sections. The first focuses on the big picture. It examines bad behavior and why kids push back against us. It also shows you how parents can make discipline calm, firm, and warm. And most crucially, it will clarify how good discipline deepens our connection with our kids. We need not fear that by being in charge we'll alienate them. Sections 2 and 3 explore in more detail the three parenting roles I've just briefly described.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?